Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to a very special video. This is a sponsored video, sponsored by the developers of Fatal Core, which is a TCG game. Also, thanks very much to Catapult for arranging the sponsorship of this as well. Now, what's Fatal Core? As I said, Fatal Core is a TCG game. It has a different narrative to a lot of other games. If you're familiar with the likes of Pokemon, if you're familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh!, if you're familiar with Magic the Gathering, it's very much the element of buying packs. You buy packs and then you're able to, and selling cards as well, and selling the cards that you get from said packs. So it feels like you're whaling out to get that kind of like advantage, and you're very much creating it as a pay to win kind of narrative. This is where Fatal Core is different. This game takes a different approach to that, which I really respect and rate, and I think a lot of other players would respect and rate as well. It's definitely a game to consider to add to your wish list, and if you are familiar with some of those TCG games and don't want to get too much involved with the pay-to-win nonsense and the unfair narrative of, feeling you're new to the game and being stomped on by bigger people with bigger wallets, then I think this game is well worth checking out. And there's a lot of people out there that are into TCGs but do not want to see that kind of unfair kind of like stomping on. So some more stuff to explain. Fatal Core is a community-driven TCG, no purchases whatsoever. Everything from cards to cosmetics is earned by the player. Fatal Core is crowd-funded, so the community gets to decide how the game develops, and everyone is rewarded when goals are met, regardless of wherever and whatever they donated to the cause. Gameplay is fun, very unique, and are played from an open hand, and turns are taken simultaneously, which allows for a ton of counterplay. A battlefield has bonuses tied to your lead character, although allowing every creature to take on a variety of roles, which you're going to see some of the footage in a minute. These guys are looking to change how card games are made. If they are successful, AAA TCG companies have to think more about how they monetize and how they interact with the players, and that means we all win. So yeah, go and check out the game. Link is in the description. Also, there will be the link to the beta. Also, the Discord for the community. And yeah, just add it to your wish list. It's going to be like a really good game. I think it's great to see that. It's similar thing to a lot of other games that I play. Imagine like the games that I'm known for, like MCOC and stuff. Imagine that being the thing. Like as you go, you're getting some of the more rarest stuff, and the idea behind like the pay-to-win narrative is just completely taken away. So I rate that, and there's a great community around the crowdfunding. So yeah, fantastic news. Now, before I showcase some of my gameplay and like how well I did and how I took a bit of learning, I will just go over some basics of the game. So Fatal Core is played with an almost entirely open hand, with creatures being placed onto each player's respective 3x2 space board. Board spaces have unique bonuses based on the player's chosen lead character. Turns are taken simultaneously. Each player starts the game with 80 life. The game is won by the player who has the most life at the end of 12 rounds, or by the player who is able to reduce the opponent to 0 or less life first. The design makes Fatal Core rich in what we call predictive play. Each player is able to make a good educated guess about what their opponents will do and can develop a counter strategy accordingly. Furthermore, the board mechanics will allow every creature to have an unprecedented level of flexibility, sometimes offensive capabilities for greater utility or defensive. Deck building utilizes a graded rarity system with 3 S cards, 4 A cards, 5 B cards, and 6 C cards playable in each deck. A player cannot outperform their opponent by simply filling the deck with the most rare and powerful cards. 6 leads with their own distinctive playstyles are currently in Fatal Core. There are many synergies available to each lead. Each lead character can utilize neutralized cards, as well as lead-specific and allied cards. So yeah, there's a lot more to the game. There's currently over 200 cards in the game, as well as creature cards, spell cards, and various different things. So yeah, I mean, why don't we just get into having a look at some gameplay that I shot a little bit earlier, and that's from a little kind of interaction as I learned from my way through this game. Okay, here we go with some in-game footage, and we're going to be going through the different turns, just breaking stuff down as we go. You can see me doing damage very early on by choosing a card that did damage to the enemy, but also this is like on more easier settings. You can set up like a PvP narrative to this and choose people to fight, but it's up to you like how you want to play this. It was enjoyable to like do this kind of little expedition from like the very kind of earlier parts, go through the tutorial, learning the dynamics, and then trying to get into a full fight. A few times I've messed up, but as you get further progressed, you end up learning a bit more and doing better. One of the things very early on is just picking up cards that do direct damage. There may be certain ones that kind of improve your health, or adds more kind of like health to you, and then heals you, and then does say damage to the enemy. So the playing aspect to this is going to be quite important. Also, you'll find that at times there will be these kind of like skeletons or kind of things they're referred to as corpses, or sometimes you see them on the grave or whatever. That's important to kind of have something that interacts. Now, a razor corpse, which I've just kind of interacted with there, to then do something. That can be a card that you use, and there can be stuff with the enemy. You're looking to, like, if you've played any TCG games, Magic the Gathering is a good comparison, but there's also Yu-Gi-Oh! and like I said, Pokemon, where you've got a card that kind of does negative effects to the enemy depending on whatever's going on. So if there's creatures on the enemy side, then depending on the volume of creatures, you can do damage multiplied in some ways, or kind of like do a larger amount, like say for X amount of like characters on there. There's a good example. Deal X amount damage for creatures, which I'm going to put into play, or just try to put into play. As there's 2 on the enemy, so I guess that's going to do some damage, but I want to get some characters in play. I'm holding off on that one for a while. Now I am looking to use it. I am looking to put it into play, especially to do damage to the enemies, which now there's 3 creatures, I want to say. So it should be a case of doing just the 1 creature on the team. No, there is 3. I did get it right the first time. So it's going to do damage to them, and 1 has been knocked out. 2's been knocked out. That was even more effective than I thought it was going to be. I've got some soulless characters on at the moment, but yeah, I just want to get more characters in play. I think that's the main thing. Already taking down the opponent down to 33 from their original. But again, it's looking up. It's like must be played on top of a corpse each turn. Give random opposing creatures minus this, minus that, plus this, plus that. Minus is obviously we want to take down health of our enemies, damage the creatures, damage the opponents. That's really what we're trying to do. That would have been a good option there, but I would do gain health, erase all corpses in play. See, there we go. That's me using my noodle there, because there's a lot of corpses, but there is, well, that's what the enemy can play as well at the same time. There may be cards in play that kind of counteract one another, but still, if you kind of like, if you play better with that, it can be helpful. So we take some damage down the enemy. There's more corpses on the field, so I got to find something that's going to interact with the corpses. So maybe this is the time to use this particular character to do exactly that. And again, that particular card even. So I say character. It was character card. It is what it is. So there are some really kind of like cool interactions with this, and I like the artwork as well. I must admit, like from a lot of because I used to play Magic the Gathering a long time ago. Artwork is very important to me as well, how things look, and I must commend the developer on the look on the cards. They look pretty sick. They look pretty sick, especially with that one there, the Great Phantom Lydia. I think that's a pretty good card, that one. So I was like looking at it like, oh, that's nice. I want to do something with that. So I put it in play. The enemy is down like low on health in any case, especially because of the interaction and what this is going to do. Man, this is going to be good. Damage is in, 13 damage to the enemy, getting down to 2 health. So I'm already on to a winner here, and especially as I've been learning through it, I think this was my kind of my great success as I've kind of like been improving and getting better. And for winning, you do get prizes, which is good. You add stuff, you get certain cards, which I think is good. It kind of puts you in you're earning or working towards something. As we do the big damage right here, and it should be a case. Getting this W is pretty easy. Now I think one of the cards I pulled was include creatures, which did affect the extent of damage that could be done here. And I definitely want to try out some more kind of like damage narrative. We get minus 10. It doesn't matter with damage we take because we picked up the W, and that's all right with me. I prefer picking up the W on this one. You are victorious. Thank you very much. That's always good to see when you are victorious and having a blast playing a TCG game. And yeah, as I said, like, if you want to pick up this game, it is worth picking up because it won't feel this pay-to-win narrative. Go and check out the link in the description to download Fatal Core. And thanks very much for watching this video, and thanks very much to the developer for sponsoring this video. I had a great time playing the game.